Okay, welcome back to the channel. We just had some really good news about this Matias Ergashev fight. It is now set for November 25th. That is going to be on the undercard of Benavidez Andrade. This is great news. I know I've been making a lot of videos about this fight. It's been back and forth. 1 minute it was Ergashev, then it was off, then it was Lipinets, then it was in August, now it was in November 4th. We were still waiting for an announcement, still waiting for a venue. Now it's on the undercard. I think that's in Las Vegas. I've got to double check. I should have checked that. Sorry about that. But nonetheless, I was thinking that before I made a video about Benavidez Andrade, I was like, that's a really, really good fight, but like for a normal Showtime fight. I didn't think it was pay-per-view. I know there was a fanboy that took issue with me there, but that wasn't really pay-per-view for me. Very good fight, but now I think that's pay-per-view worthy because that is such a magnificent matchup. Matias versus Ergashev. You don't know about these two dudes. Matias, shout out to the Puerto Ricans tuned in. Shout out to the Uzbeks tuned in. I know there's a few of you that pop up on here when I make these videos. Shout out to you guys. I'm a little hyped right now because I think this fight is so good. It's going to be so violent. And I did make a little mini film study. It's not the deepest film study. It's more of a music thing. But it took me so long to edit it that I've kind of missed out a lot of the actual film study parts because it was just a different thing. I'm still working on the style, but I'll leave the link up here. And you know, Matias, when he fought Dukenbaev, was getting peppered with those straight left hands, which is Ergashev's best punch. So I expect that. Obviously, Ergashev hasn't fought anybody like Matias whatsoever. Matias is the IBF champion. His resume is far deeper. Dukenbaev, you could argue, is a better fighter than Ergashev. Ergashev is going to be in deep, but look, he's a very dangerous, hard-hitting southpaw Uzbek, trained out of Detroit from the Kronk gym. And, you know, he's been wiping people out, and he's got an absolutely vicious left uppercut hook to the body, to the liver, which he's stopped loads of fighters with that punch. And I was thinking that would be his best ticket out there because I don't think he's going to be able to just hurt Matias with that straight left. Maybe, but Matias has been hurt before by Dukenbaev, but even worse by Ananyan. But you know, after the Ananyan fight, it just came off the back of the loss, of the the victory to Dardashev, who lost his life. You know, really, really tragic story. And people were telling me in the comments, shout out to you, that, you know, Matias, and this is, I shouldn't laugh really because obviously he was in, you know, a mental state, but he was smoking an absolute gigantic amount of weed. And I'm just, the only reason I'm laughing is I can't imagine that would have really helped him. Do you know what I mean? But apparently he wasn't in the best shape for that fight. I don't blame him, you know. I just think he probably is just stay off the weed, get in the camp, which he's doing. He's a different beast. They're telling me he's just a different animal now. I've been watching him obviously, but like I didn't know about that little part of the story. So that was when Ananyan nearly got him out of there. He hit him with 4 overhand rights and then a left hook, and he was in big trouble. Go and watch the film study. It's in that clip. But you know, I think obviously he's going to struggle with what happened, and you know, he's come back from that, and he's a bigger, stronger person. Ergashev is going to be in big trouble. Do you know what I mean? I think he's got to get his respect to say, I don't think he can box a full fight off the back foot. He hasn't really shown or at all that he has a clinch game or an ability to hold or slow the fight down, slow the pace down. Doesn't really use his jab. So when Matias breaches that, you know, that left hand or that backhand, he likes to step in with that pendulum step and fire that left hand off. If that doesn't slow Matias down, what then? Do you know? Like that was what I was saying. I think Ergashev is firepower. He's gonna have to let it go, unless, look, he hasn't been tested like that, so we don't really know if he does have a clinch game. We don't really know about his heart. We don't really know about his chin. So we're going to find out about these because Matias makes you fight. He dispenses with any sort of boxing, really, not any, but most of it. He just walks his opponents down, drops his hands, and just wants to outwill you, really. Obviously, he's got those vicious arm punches. They're very skillful, actually. when you look at it up close, to reel these shots off in close like that from arm punch and be devastating. There's sometimes they don't even land clean on the head because he's caught Djukenbaev with a shot like that and he knocked him down. And he got Djukenbaev hurt him with the left overhand. Just an ingredient for an amazing fight. I'm so happy that they've finally announced this fight because I was beginning to wonder, because I've made so many videos about it. And finally, that is falling on a great night as well, because you know that is a hardcore fan fight. So you do wonder whether how they can pack out stadiums in America. You know, it's like, you know, it makes sense to be an undercard. I think it is a perfect fit. Being on the Benavidez Andrade undercard, it fills that up. It now makes that, in my opinion, just because maybe I'm being biased about the fight, but for me, that's now definitely a pay-per-view worthy event. I don't know what else is on the undercard, but that I'll be paying for that 100%. That'd be a massive hypocrite if I didn't, but I definitely will. I always pay for the fights, and I will be penciling that in November 25th. Let me know what you think about this fight. I know there's some very passionate fans. Keep it respectful. I don't want to hear about anybody putting anybody in the hospital. Leave it to the fighters with that, because you don't want to wish bad on people. It's not good. And in terms of the Benavidez and Andrade fight, look, we're going to find out just how much Andrade wants to win, because, you know, I've always said, like, look, it's not his fault he got avoided a lot. I really think he wanted those fights with Golovkin, the Charlos. You know, he showed up to the press conferences, and you know, a lot of people avoided him. And it's like, you know, the promoters, the managers, it's understandable. You're probably not going to win. You're not going to look good, and it's just a nightmare. But when you look at Andrade's resume, who's his best win? He got dropped in his last fight. His best win could really be Liam Williams, and he struggled a little bit with him. So we're going to find out what he's about. He's going to get pushed to the limit. You know, I don't really know about that fight just yet. I'd imagine you would go with the fresher guy, Benavidez, coming off a career best win against Plant. But at the same time, Andrade's got the skills and the tools. You know, he likes to come out and ambush fighters straight off the gate. Will he do that against Benavidez? Or will he try to preserve some energy for later and just maybe he can outmaneuver him and not need to do that, because we know Benavidez has got some issues with his footwork. He's not the best at cutting the ring off. Andrade's pretty silky on his feet. You know, maybe he's getting a bit on now, but still, intriguing fight. Great card. Wonderful card. Showtime pay-per-view, November 25th. Let me know your thoughts. I know I'm hyped up. I'm excited for this because, like I said, I've been making a lot of videos about this. So I'll probably do one more about the Ergashev, or the Matias Ergashev, for like a breakdown, a full-on breakdown where I can actually do more of a film study, but I'll talk about it and bring some highlights up as well, so I can cover some parts and where each fighter might have a chance in more detail. I did it in that film study, but it was just a quick fire thing. But yeah, anyway, I've got to get out of here. I've got a gig to go to. I'm out of here. Have a great weekend. Peace and love. Boxing on the Edge. Hit the subscribe button for more videos.
Boxing
on the edge.